Hi everyone, welcome to this Monday video, this Monday Musings. And we're recording this in Virgo season. And the reason why I'm stating that at the start of the video is because each sign of the zodiac brings through certain themes for us, as well as everything else that's cosmically going on and collectively going on. And these Monday videos we started doing them to help bring a little bit of awareness to things that are kind of coming up a little bit. And just points of interest as well. Now, Virgo season has that hermit energy, right? That inner guru, that almost mystery schools, really. And so today, instead of going on the theme that I've been running on for the past few weeks, I thought today we'd talk about something that I used to talk about quite a bit. And I've done a lot of courses and workshops on. And that's something to do with the mystery schools. More specifically, life force energy. Now, when we say life force energy, it's a phrase that in today's world actually gets, it gets thrown about quite a bit these days, hey? There's a lot of people that speak of, oh, it's wasting our life force energy, cultivate your life force energy, your chi, your prana. It's heard a lot when people speak of sacred sexuality as well. And it's quite interesting because in the studies that I participate in, and that sounds weird, that sounds medical, in the studies that I do, let's say that, in the studies that I do, I've always had a very keen interest in the mystery schools. I came in remembering many initiatory practices, many rites and rituals. I came in remembering many past lifetimes or present lifetimes, future lifetimes, however you want to call it, different lifetimes. And I came in with this innate desire to bring truth to the obscurity that perhaps is still present in today's world. Now, what do we mean by that? Well, the vibration that we're all operating under and the way that we've all cultivated our energy, or to phrase that in a different way, the way that we're all spilling our energy lowers our initial vibration, right? It lowers our initial vibration, and it lures us into a different type of expression with our life force. Now, first, let's start off by saying, what is life force energy? It is the streams of the rivers of energy that move through you. It is the initial energy that gives you life. It is your soul energy, your higher self energy. It's your source energy moving through you, creating within you and around you. It creates your whole being. It creates everything about you. It creates the world around you. It is responsible for every alignment and misalignment that you have. Okay. And the reason why I feel like it's such a pertinent topic to bring up, and plus I miss talking about it really, although if you've had one-to-ones with me, it usually comes up in each one-to-one. The reason why I feel like it's important to bring up is because there is this very interesting energy moving around the sacral chakras of planet Earth right now. Right, every one of us are seeking this sacred union, this divine masculine, this divine feminine. We're seeking that within. A lot of people seek that without looking within first. And there seems to be sometimes a absence of focus on true resonance of life force energy. There can be a lot of distraction. So in Gnosis teachings and in White Tantra teachings, and if you'll have done the workshops where we focused on Tantra, there was a couple of introductory workshops that I did in, I think it was April maybe, the ancient secrets of sacred union. We spoke a little bit about this as we did an introduction to White Tantra, and that's about how we really cultivate and help rise the Kundalini, because what happens in today's world right now, where the majority of people are, especially in the spiritual world, is we're doing the reverse of Kundalini rising, but it feels very much like Kundalini rising. We're doing the reverse of sanctity, of our sexual energies. We're doing the reverse of that, and without realizing. And this may be a triggering video. I'm not sure. It's not intended to be, but people's expressions never are, right? And the way that the life force energy wishes to go is it wishes to rise up the spine, right? Your Kundalini wants to rise up. It wants to rise up. It activates. It's the path of the Christ energy within us, right? It wants to rise up the spine, and it brings enlightenment as it brings symbiosis and unity to all aspects within us, right? Now, this is particularly important right now because we see a lot, and you may not feel this yourself for yourself, and that's okay. This isn't about anyone specifically watching this. This is just an observation of collective energies right now. And what's actually really going to help with what people call the ascension process is embodying a practice like we're going to share in a moment. The women of the world right now are so there's so much media and propaganda in the guise of empowering women, which is actually doing the opposite of what an empowered woman would do, or a sovereign woman, someone in her sacred feminine energies. Same with men. Men are the polarities essentially within us have switched. And majority of times, women are operating from a masculine template, and men are operating from a feminine template. And so we've got reverse polarity. And that just causes chaos. So what happens when life force energy within a man or a woman isn't being cultivated, if it's being depleted? So, trigger warning, women, if you are, going about feeling empowered to physically connect and sexually connect with as many people as you like, as many men or women or whatever as you like, and just really kind of explore your orgasm as many beings in the spiritual community teach, under the guise of empowering women, what it actually does is it does the reverse. Because every time the human body orgasms, it is releasing life force energy out the sacral chakra. So instead of that life force energy actually rising up, it's exiting straight away. Now, why is this an interesting topic to speak about, and why bring it through now? It felt very aligned to bring through. It's pardon me, I'm actually recording this a little bit in advance, so I'm not sure when I'm going to share it. But I'm being very called to bring this message through. So there's a big emphasis on, the mom entrepreneurs, the women bosses, you can do everything a man can do. And there's not to say that, you can't do whatever you want to do. This isn't about that. This is about actual feminine and masculine energy and the mystery school teachings of such. Because those women in ancient times, in our ancient past and ancient future, that were initiators of kings, of men, of kings, of emperors, of pharaohs, I can guarantee our life force energy was not exiting, but nor was his. So in white tantra, every being that you sleep with, on a soul level, you're married to. There's an entanglement that happens there. Every time that there is exchange from the pursuit of instant gratification, such as orgasm, and following that in a way. And yes, there is a great sense of awareness that occurs when we start to learn about our bodies more. And I'm not saying don't do that. You do whatever you want to do, and only take what resonates as truth. If it doesn't resonate as truth, just scroll on by. But what happens when women first, well, let's look at women. When women promiscuous, or when we are so focused in our goals and the black and white kind of that set of I'm goal orientated, I want to do this, this, and this, and la la la, and this is what I'm going to do. We get so action orientated, is that we then start to operate from our masculine template. Might not even be our divine masculine, just a masculine template. Our life force energy is depleting. And what tends to happen is you tend to get a lot of chaos around. A lot of drama ensues, because this is what happens when feminine embodiments, their life force energy depletes if it's being released. In White Tantra, you would, if you do orgasm, you would wait a certain amount of time before you would even engage with your partner, because you would need to build that life force energy up again. When I do the pranic feasts, the breatharian retreats, when I do those, we are taught and encouraged to not release any life force energy, because some men or women practice a certain retention, which we'll mention in just a moment, but still do not lose any of your life force energy, because you're going to need it to do the breatharian retreat. So it's really quite interesting if you start to read some of the books on Gnosis, some of the books on the mystery schools. If you start to remember, even if you have the dreams and the visions, where you remember and you see, if you have that connection to ask your guides, ask about it. Because every time you actually orgasm, your life force energy, instead of rising up your spine, it circles back around and releases. It switches your polarity. Why is that such a bad thing, you might ask? It feels so good, maybe, to connect with one another and this, that, and the other. But what happens is we become more and more hedonistic, right? Without realizing that it actually feeds the ego. So if you're on a pathway where you're wanting to achieve ascension, where you're wanting to achieve enlightenment, where you're wanting to live in this non-dualistic state of peace and bliss, if you're releasing your life force energy, your sacred seeds, your bloods, your waters, your light waters, your polarity is switching, and it's likely that you're not even going to realize it. It grows the ego. So what happens when our ego grows? Well, if you've been watching my channel a little while, where we talk a lot about this and the shadow integration of such, when the ego is fed, it becomes invisible. We can't see it. We only see it through the chaos that ensues around us, through other people, through experiences, etc., etc. It's a big thing. Now, what happens when men do that? Because there's a lot of distractions for men as well. The more that a man either releases his seed or orgasms, they might not be one and the same. You might practice semen retention, but still, if you're orgasming, you're doing the same thing. Instead of that Kundalini rising up, it switches, polarity switches, it releases. Then we find our men being in this state where they are constantly in need of healing. They want mothering, they want healing. They're in their feminine energies. They're distracted and not focused. So instead of achieving the dreams and creating their universe, creating their world from the sovereignty and balance of true masculine energy and true balance of energy within, of masculine, feminine, their polarity switches. So then we have a world of hyper masculine women and hyper feminine men. Isn't that interesting? Because of the world that we're in right now. And once again, when I'm recording this, it's still in August. I don't know when I'm going to post this. I feel it might be in maybe 2-3 weeks' time. I don't know. But whenever it gets posted, it's interesting, because I don't know what's going to happen in the next few weeks, or where the focus might be, or where the focus might be anyway. But energetically, it feels like this needs to be brought through. So I will be running a workshop on the 28th of September. I'll be running a workshop, The Mystery of Life Force. And we're going to go in more to how to cultivate your energy and your life force energy. We're going to look more at what life force energy is. We're going to look into the mystery school teachings. That's going to be on Thursday, the 28th of September. But for the purpose of this video here, just to keep it short and not too much, if you're feeling like you are depleted, or that there's chaos, or that you're just going through initiation after initiation, if we haven't learned how to cultivate our energy and keep it within our sacred temple, rather than watering it away like a watering can, just if we don't start to actually practice honoring the sanctity and wholeness of that energy, and trusting that actually there's something better if you do than the reason why most people release it in this particular way through the sacral chakra in the genital organs. There is something better on the other side of that if you learn to cultivate this. There is something far better. And that's not to say you're never going to get into a romantic relationship again. That's quite the opposite, really. But the point is that, you know, if we want the men and women in our world to not feel the chaos, not feel hot-headed, not feel unfocused, you know, to have the determination, the drive, be able to provide, you know, and be calm and cool-headed in crisis. And if you want, you know, the women, as you know, to be in their feminine energy, their fluidness, their creativity, their channeling, their healing. If we want divine union to occur here on earth, if we want the ascension of Christ within, which occurs when sacred masculine, sacred feminine come together as one within a being, then what happens is, you know, we have to learn how to do that. We have to remember, and we have to dissolve the aspects of ego which are really blocking that from occurring, you know. So if we're wanting that beautiful relationship, that passionate, loyal, beautiful relationship where, you know, where it's safe, then we have to be safe within ourselves, and we can't be safe within ourselves if we're continuously depleting our life force. And isn't that the irony here? Is that it's like kind of trying to fill up a bucket and you just keep poking holes in it everywhere, right? So yes, there's a lot of allure to Black Tantra. There's a lot of allure to sex magic. There's a lot of allure of, you know, the hedonistic ways that are kind of propagated to be fanciful and fun. But does it bring you what your heart truly wants? Does it bring you the peace, the abundance, the sanctity, the safety, the flow that you want in your life? Does it bring you the relationships? No, not really. Not really. So, interesting video, slightly a different topic to what we've been speaking about for the past few weeks, but it's always good fun to open this can of worms because it's information that is going to be coming forward now, because it needs to. We need to start practicing and embodying what it is that we want, right? That's how it gets anchored. And that's how we anchor the sacred masculine. That's how we anchor the sacred feminine. So if it calls to you, you can get instant replays of the workshops that I did previously, the Ancient Secrets of Sacred Union, or you can join me on the 28th of September, live or on replay, where we're going to be delving into life force energy itself. That's going to be a really fun workshop. And we also had a really powerful one called Softening to Love, which was helping the feminine energy be birthed within. It was helping the masculine walls of our heart soften so that we can let love in. So there's a lot of instant replays. 28th of September is one if you want to be there live. And of course, there's loads of videos on my YouTube that are already free that talk about a lot of this stuff. So let me know in the comments if this is a topic of interest. If so, we can start bringing more through about this. Yeah. So let me know. I send you all so much love, so much appreciation from my heart to yours. And I'll see you soon. Bye for now.